What's up, guys? Today we're going to be tearing this sucker apart to access a few of the major components that make this thing work. We got a manual here, and believe it or not, there are very specific instructions in the back on how to disassemble the rotor, the stator, remove the engine that a lot of people don't know about. We're gonna simplify it and show you step by step on how this works. But if you look right here, it's got all the steps and what to use and what tools to use and, you know, the ins and the outs and all that. But for now, let's get to it. Let's open this sucker up. So first thing what we need a broom or a brush. This was a generator that had flooded. This was actually two generators that has been made into one. One flooded and the other had an electrical failure with the rotor and the stator. So I made one good generator out of two broke ones. So first thing we need is a 10 millimeter. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna start removing these panels. The whole left side has to be disassembled and removed in order to make room to slide everything out and, you know, basically get everything out. And that's mine right there. These are the best kind. They have a little, don't use that one. I would still use it probably because it's just dirt. It's just dirt. I pick them up off my floorboard of my truck or my van all the time, so. Now, there's a lot of these. Any good mechanic will have a bunch of those laying around, at least one or two. Now, that worked out great, didn't it? I'm going to change right now to a deep socket. Just that way, my electric ratchet isn't so close with the battery pushing off. It's gonna make it a little more comfortable and easier to access all those bolts.
Hey, ping pong.
There it is.
This is one of those special ping pongs that comes in only 1 in 1,000 units. When you find this ping pong, nothing happens. It's just there.
Hey, it could be like a Willy Wonka golden ticket.
Yeah.
Find a ping pong ball, get a ping pong ball, you get a free annual maintenance. It's almost a $300 value. So when you take this off, you can see your exhaust down there. Be very careful if this thing has been running already. This is hot. Right here it even says it's hot. This could be hot. Just you know, be mindful. Okay, taking off the second panel. Bloop. I had a really long one. Have y'all seen that? What's that? Oh, it's one that's about that long. We will use these. Now I'm gonna go ahead and take this off because, you know, members only.
You know.
Let me put this to the side because we're about to get elbow deep in this.
I want to get in there with the
Elbow seat, baby. Elbow seat.
You can get in there with the vacuum once we take that out, and that's a good thing there. A lot of people they don't do that. They'll put a new engine right over some dirt. So if you look way down in there, there's screws all the way down at the base. There we go. Gotcha. What do they say? Yahtzee or something. There's another one on the front. Now I'm gonna pass this. See that? And that's why you want the one long one if you have it. I have one somewhere, but what I'm gonna do is pass this to young Ryan here, and we'll start disassembling these. I'm gonna give y'all a little tip here. I see a lot of people, they want to totally take this whole lid off, undo the hinges, and pull this thing off. You don't need to do that. What you want to do is, one, got it. Go for the toppy. So don't take the bolt out. And that fell. That's okay though. So what you do is pull that out, remove that side panel.
Get in there, J-Bone. Hold it up.
And then put your bolt back in there.
Gotcha.
It'll hold it up.
Lift it up a little more.
There you go. Boom. Now we still got to access that far bottom one, but as you see, it holds it up. So when this comes off, this will still stay on there. This ratcheting wrench is just a lifesaver because rather than have to readjust the end of my wrench, I'm getting a couple clicks each time. Who did this? Now it's usually easier. This is an old unit with rusted parts and pieces, and it may have a few bolts that, you know, didn't normally go there in a spot where they shouldn't be, but you know what? I don't think I like that one. It's the second time it's done that. Okay. So as you can see now, you can get in here and see what I'm dealing with. There's you just gotta bear with it.
An eternity later.
I love this little thing. It's a 1/4 inch, but it's got this 1/4 inch to 3/8 adapter that's also a thumb drive. Call this a thumb drive. Summer ratcheting, I like this Low Pro. Boom, so.
Love that thing?
I love it so much.
Love me.
I love it when you, yeah, I do love you. Model. And you know, a lot of things aren't made with the repairs in mind. I'm glad y'all are having fun.
Hey man, you want me to get in there?
I'm dedicated and committed now. I can't quit. All right, lunchtime.
Alrighty.
So anyway, it was just, yeah, man, it's these little inserts. When there's no actual thread to go into, like these actually have a thread, they have these little clips. And this clip acts as, you know, something to screw into. So with that off, I'm gonna let my arm rest a little bit and pass it off to these guys. So then you get to the exhaust fan above the muffler. There's these 10 millimeters. Here you go, Jay. Yep.
I want it with the extender. I want it with the extender. Go ahead and
The extender, huh?
Yeah.
The extendo.
Yeah, this is
No, it's trick. Leave that on there. We're gonna leave this connected.
okay.
Disconnect the exhaust from here. All this will come off. We need to take.
Black pen
Yep.
first. Alright.
Yep. Now loosen this. So with this just wiggles out. And then as you see, that fell out very easily. So young Ryan here is going to show you how the puller is used to take the fan off. This can be very tight on there. A lot of people break them trying to pull them off and don't have the correct tool, but there's a specific tool used to pop that off. It's actually a harmonic balancer puller. It's called a few different things, but works very well for this. So I'll show you. So this right here is actually your exhaust fan. This blows the exhaust out and away. Your muffler's in here, and when this is spinning, it actually spins and blows the exhaust out. That's why it's really important when you're talking about clearances and placement of the generator. to, you know, at least be 5 foot away from a window, a door, a dryer vent, any kind of opening that can let carbon monoxide in, because this is where the exhaust is going to come not only out from the side, but it kind of throws it to the back. So you want to just be mindful of that. But yeah, exhaust fan, if this breaks or comes apart, which they do, this can get very hot in here, overheat, melt the controller, overheat the generator, and cause you more problems. So this is very important, a very important part. Got my new Pittsburgh from Harbor Freight.
Not from Pittsburgh.
Nope, never been to Pittsburgh. So what you want to do is you want to loosen this a little bit. Now you want to loosen this to put a little gap in, because you'll see in a second that tool uses this to push against to pull the fan out. So you want a little wiggle, about a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, whatever. And Ryan's going to put the puller on there, show you how it works.
What is this?
While he's doing that, we're going to do a little general housekeeping. Because a clean workplace is a happy workplace and a safe workplace. So I think I said harmonic balancer puller, bolt type wheel puller, sorry, bolt type wheel puller set. Again, Pittsburgh, trusted name and tools since 1926. I think, I don't know. Maybe longer than that, I don't know. But it is a trusted name and tools. I have quite a few Pittsburgh pieces, and I love them. So we have the whole kit here, and what we're gonna do is find the right one that actually finger threads in with ease and doesn't cross thread. It looks like those have been used. That's probably it. So you see what he's doing, he's putting them opposite. By the way, this is also referred to as a turkey foot or a crow foot because of the way it looks. So you want them even. What you don't want your turkey foot crossed up sideways. You want it straight on. So this is about straight. Finger tighten this, and then he's gonna tighten this bad boy and pop it off. There it goes, it popped.
All right.
Now that worked fine, but on a little tougher one, you'd have probably wanted to use something like this or like this to make that thing spin and this thing stay stationary on the end. Because what it was doing was it was gripping. So it was wanting to spin that bolt, but that worked fine. Now you see the fan is loose. He'll disassemble it, pull that bad boy out, and that's how you get the fan off without damaging the fan. Because the last thing you want is to have to break the fan, which I have had to do before. I've actually had to Sawzall them because these would not work. But if you don't have the right tool, you can damage this. And then if you don't have another fan to replace it, you know, you won't leave the generator in working condition. And that's why you go there in the first place to fix it. So not very fresh. So there's your bolt.
Look at that.
And there's your fan. And as you see, this is tapered. So the tighter it's screwed in, the tighter that sucker gets on there, and it's just, gotta break it loose. So, all right. So now what the guys are gonna do, they're gonna get this off. Oh yeah, it's already out. The insert.
That'll work.
Yep. Yeah, it is rusted out. And this is a very important part of how this thing produces power. If you get down here and you look, this is what's called a brush assembly, or a BA for short. And what it does is it sends DC voltage to a slip ring. And as the slip ring's spinning, it makes power, for short, basically, without getting too detailed. This thing won't work, so you gotta be really careful when you're messing with these and taking these off. So we're gonna take this out first before we even disassemble this, because we don't wanna damage these brushes. And these come from your controller. So as you see, this is almost, I believe these are made of lead. I don't know. You get real chalky looking on your fingers like that because these have springs in them. And over time, as they wear down, they just continue to push out on the rotor as it's spinning. You can see how it's got a little curve to it. And you'll see that slip ring when we pull it out, but that's your brush assembly right there. Okay, so now, did I give you that other one too? And just set that to the side and kind of hang it over there. We need to find out, I believe those are 1/2 inch. Loosen those, loosen these, and then we'll get ready to prop up and start taking this thing out, and there's rat shit. Very nice. Another tip on a new install, if it sounds a little off, if it sounds a little puttery and put and a little too loud, take that thing off that says hot, and sometimes they'll come from the factory with these flex pieces loose that can be letting exhaust out into the generator as well, which can heat it up and put unnecessary heat on it. Come on, show us what that juicing does.
We're breathing technique?
Natural juice, not steroids.
Juice. So just whenever you want, you know, you can catch us in the workspace as at a residence, you know, installing generators, or check the sheets and hoop. That was a little sketchy. We're gonna run that back. Thank you.
You look way too cool. You need to chill out. You look way too cool.
You know, we have a cooler of ice. It's just
Ice bath?
Yeah.
That ain't. I like hot showers.
I like ice baths. They're pretty good for the mind.
Just want to jump in here and say that normally a repair on a generator this old like this you're not going to do. Something like this will probably run you between $2,000 and $3,000 easily to replace the rotor and the stator, because it's quite a bit of work to get to it, and the parts alone are very expensive. That being said, that's damn near half the price of a new generator just for the generator, so a lot of people don't, you know, it's not worth it. So we're really just doing it on this one because it's kind of a throwdown unit, and we don't obviously want to disassemble and reassemble a brand new unit that we have sitting here. So young Ryan has the 4 bolts out. That basically holds the end cap on and everything together so this can spin and just, you know, work all together. We need to take these off as well. Take that bad boy off there. Oh, there it is. Okay, what we're gonna do now is something so crazy, you're not gonna believe it until you see it. Actually, it's not really that crazy. But we need some wood for it because we do have to pry this up to take this off. I'm gonna loosen the motor mounts slightly just to give it a little more play to actually lift up, because we're actually gonna tilt this whole thing to remove this to get that off. This electric ratchet's nice, but sometimes you have to get it going. You can use it like a ratchet until you break it loose, and then bam. So we're gonna try it without that back one. So this is actually to vent the rotor and the stator, to give it some air from out the back. We need a 7mm note. We need a 7mm wrench, I believe. There we go. Yeah. Got one down. Boop. And the other one is a little bit of a tricky fella. Could actually use a socket on this, but nobody gave me one because they don't like me. Now, if I were changing out the actual stator, you would disconnect the wires that are coming off of it that are going to this area where your controller is at. We're just kind of, you know, just for the sake of the video and not getting too deep into that, we're just gonna bust it apart and show you how it actually comes off. But you would actually, if you're just replacing an engine or a rotor, you don't need to actually disassemble the stator, meaning like the wires and everything from the controller. So we're gonna leave all that together, but that's where everything comes out right there. And let's get it off. All right, so, and what I want you to do, Ryan, is I want you to stick it right here underneath the part of the engine and just see if you can get it to wiggle a little bit. Yep, okay. So now we're gonna get the other piece of wood. So Johnny's gonna come here and he's gonna lift that up a little bit too. And we're gonna get that rubber mallet. We're gonna pop this bad boy off here. Get it over this basically. Keep going, bam. Don't let go, all right, hold on. Hold on. Okay, that came off, okay. So once you get it over past these, you just pop it off. So now we got this rotor that's gotta come out. And as you see, that rotor is gonna spin inside the stator. And there's your slip rings where your brush assembly. See how they push out the whole time? So eventually these will wear out and need to be replaced when there's no more to give. So when you're doing this, you have what's known as a cut bolt. As you see, we pulled this out, which had a big washer on it, which held the fan in. Well, this goes and screws into your engine or your shaft that spins on your engine. You're going to very carefully cut a notch in this. Then you have basically a big flathead screw. We just made a bolt into a flathead screw. And if we get a trim screwdriver, we got a screwdriver here that can get into that. So you'll take this, you stick that in there, and you see it stopped right there. Now, let's get it in there. And as you see, you put it in to where you have something to push on, to where when you have this, you can stick it in here. Now, I'm gonna get a ratchet because this ain't big enough or strong enough. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna tighten this. And what it's doing is, this is threaded. This is a female thread, this is a male thread. It's gonna screw in here, and as it's screwing in, it's pushing against that, which is basically gonna make this rotor pop off. There it goes. Oop. Then you come back in here, take your cut bolt out. Now we've gotten to where we save these because we have different sizes for different size setups. Because here's one that we've used in the past that is quite a bit shorter. Some of the newer generators, they have a shorter rotor and a stator, so different cut bolts. It just saves you from having to cut a cut bolt out in the field. So now with this out, we'll leave those boards in. We can slide the rotor out. Boom. And then the rotor's out. And I've beat on these with a rubber mallet, wood, trying to pry them out before I figured out how to do that trick. And again, it's in the back of the book. Reading is fundamental, and sometimes you don't want to read and you just want to force things. But that can really save you a lot of trouble by getting this out. And, you know, not damaging things, because you don't want to be beating on this. Because especially if it's a new one still under warranty and you're only replacing this, if you damage this, well, you're out of pocket. Nick some of these wires, you know, get a bearing sideways, bust a slip ring from just trying to pry stuff out. What this does is, it actually, if you look right here, how I was telling you about how that shaft right there is the same on this. You might be able to get in there and look. So that shaft on your engine spins. And as it spins this. See how this is tapered as well. So when that screws in, it's so tight that it spins with it. When this spins, DC voltage is applied to this spins, and your electricity will feed out of the stator at that point back to the controller, which goes back to your house or your business or whatever you're powering up. So this is very essential to, you know, the whole thing working. If any one of these components is off, you got a nicked wire, broke slip ring, bad brush assembly, bearing goes out, something gets in between here and these magnets and you know, your copper breaks, it's not gonna work at all. So the disassembly process and the reassembly process is very important to, you know, make it all work correctly. Not just, you know, yeah, you're tearing it apart, but you literally don't want to tear things apart. So then what we'll do is, at this point, again, if we were just replacing the rotor, we could put the new rotor in. If we're replacing the stator, we would want to disconnect the wires and take it off. But for now, we'll go a little further. And Johnny, you want to pry that wood up a little bit and just kind of wiggle it my way? Oh, hold on, I see. So from here, and you can see the inside, I want to make sure that doesn't get pinched. From there, you're golden. If you did need to remove the engine at this point, you would just have to remove some of the parts and pieces of the wiring harness, air mixer, whatever you need to do, but the engine's basically ready to come out at this point.
Let's put it all back.
Right?
Let's get
Well,
it.
now that Glenn's here, with the tall boy.
It's a coat. Need my caffeine.
So I guess maybe you're wondering why you would do something like this. What would be the reason? First and foremost, under voltage, meaning there is no voltage or the voltage is too low. Especially with these older units, a very easy way to know that you have a messed up rotor and a stator is if you look in the bottom of your unit down here and you see little pieces that look like basically pieces of spaghetti that are copper windings that you saw that were in the rotor and the stator, it's done for. It's not always that easy. It's not always very visibly apparent that, you know, hey, this needs to be replaced without even any testing, but there are some further tests in the diagnostic manual that each of you technicians should carry. I chose this one because it is the older one with the door on the side, older style. But there's tests you can do on the rotor and or the stator to actually, you know, verify that it is in fact a bad rotor and a stator and it does need to be replaced. So, but usually it'll show an under voltage on your display. Now this is a pre-Nexus, but it still does have visible displays. It's got your door on the side where you would see there's a yellow, a green, and a red light. When that light's red, that means there's a hard alarm on the controller or on the unit itself, stopping it from working properly. And then at that point, you'll contact an authorized dealer like Gentex Elite Services to diagnose and repair the situation in a timely manner and get you up and running. Pretty much exactly what you do when you go to school to get certified. They have older units, throw down makeshift units that you just kind of play with. And that was nice. You know, hands-on, it's the best way to learn, so. All right, well, all that's left to do is just to reassemble the unit. The guys are here putting it all together now. If we've brought any value to you with this video, please like, subscribe, share, leave a comment. It helps the algorithm and, you know, puts it out there for others to learn. And can't wait to see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Still watching? Hit that subscribe button below. You don't want to miss none of this, trust me.